Alright YouTube, my name is Kyle.
And I'm Kyle, but y'all can call me Omar just to like not mix the names up too.
Exactly. But today we're going to be talking about the best route and best ways to get started in cybersecurity in 2024. I've seen a lot of videos online, a lot of people on TikTok and social media, Instagram, whatever, talking about they can't find a job right now, or they don't know where to get started, they don't know what certifications to start with. I know I do Q&As a couple times a week as well, so these are basically just frequently asked questions that we get a lot in the Q&As, and I kind of just wanted to come on here and address those questions. So Kyle will get us started off with, what route, depending on what realm or of cybersecurity you're trying to go in. He'll tell you what best certifications are to get. So we'll start off with certifications first, because I know that's a main topic for everybody, and then I'll talk about work experience. So I'll let him go first and tell you.
There's going to be different routes depending on different certification routes depending on what field inside of cybersecurity you want to go for. For those of you who don't know me, I'm also in cybersecurity. Me and Kyle have known each other since high school.
Ninth grade.
Yeah, since like 9th grade. And we both got started in cybersecurity pretty early. Me, because I had my mentor, and then obviously Kyle, because his dad was in cybersecurity, with him growing up. So we have a good amount of experience as to like how to get started. But yeah, let's talk about the path that you could take for certifications. I guess most of you would be here for identity access management, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with that. So identity access management is in something called the blue teaming side of cybersecurity, which essentially what you do as a blue teamer in cybersecurity, you are responsible for protecting the assets of a company, and you protect these assets using different technologies. And there's more inside of blue teaming obviously than just IAM, but I'm gonna focus on IAM. Some certifications you can go for, starting with the IAM route, would be obviously Security Plus. That's like a big player. That's a big one, yeah. I mean, you see that in almost every one of the job roles that are out in LinkedIn, Indeed. Certified, what's it called? Certified.
What, CCNA?
No, OCP. Okta Certified Professional is a good one. Yeah. Okta is a technology that people, or a lot of companies, use to protect their assets. It's an IAM platform.
We got a lot of questions regarding our school account. When is it going to be up and running? When is it going to be up and running? So we finally did make a school account, and it'll include our IAM course and our ethical hacking, course. A lot of you guys said you wanted to learn more information about IAM and ethical hacking. How does it work? The ins and outs. So what we did is we created a bunch of mini courses, mini questions, mini quizzes, practice tests for both sections. So if you are interested in learning more about IAM, how to get started in IAM, kind of like the backbone of IAM, how does it work? What is IAM? And different things like that. We have an IAM section, and then also we have Kyle here over the ethical hacking section, and that can kind of give you guys a quick, brief overview.
Yeah, so what Kyle said, in the course, we currently have 2 courses that are up, or in the school community, we have 2 courses that are up. We have an identity access management course and an ethical hacking course that takes you from beginner level to advanced level, or I guess from 0 to hero, as some would say. In the school community, we also are hosting private Q&As that link directly to our Discord. We're also providing work experience using me and Kyle's LLCs. And then we are also planning on hosting in-person events, most likely hosted at Kyle's coffee shop. And we'll make an announcement on those in the future.
Yep, and we'll show you guys a quick overview now of what it looks like. So here I'm sharing my screen so you guys can kind of see what it includes. So what is IAM, components of IAM, different things like that, authentication methods, access. So all the different sections and categories of IAM are right here. And then if you hit back on that classrooms tab, this is going to be the ethical hacking offensive side up here. And we also have more things coming to it, but these are the 2 most important ones that we want to go ahead and get up for y'all. So yeah, so these are the different ones. And also I want to go over price and everything. It is only $30 a month. So it's nothing crazy. It's pretty cheap for the amount of information that's in there. But yeah, as you can see here, here is, and we just got our first member without even really posting it yet. Y'all are gonna be the first ones to shout out Liner. Y'all are the first ones to see it, and y'all be able to see like when we do our live Q&As. The time we're going live, we'll do a lot of live Q&As through the school as well. So yeah, glad to have y'all. Um, can't wait. Excited for y'all to get started, and we will catch y'all in the next, or we'll catch y'all in later on in this video.
Platform, essentially, or PAM platform. There's CyberArk. You can go for CyberArk certifications as well. You can go for SailPoint.
And these are, let me specify that, and I'll let him go ahead and continue to say what he's going to say. So there's a difference between industry certifications and vendor certifications. So industry certifications are like your CompTIAs, your Cisco's, right?
Yep.
And then you got vendor certifications and different vendors. The main tool that y'all see in my videos that I talk about that I use at the companies I've worked for is CyberArk and SailPoint. I mainly use those two. I have experience in like Beyond Trust, a little bit of Azure experience, a little bit of Okta experience, whatever. But the main two tools that are like kind of like three tools that are like taking over right now in the space that I'm in the IAM realm is probably CyberArk, got to be number one. Then I would say SailPoint.
Azure Identity.
Yeah, Azure Identity, and then Okta. So those are probably like the top four, but Okta is definitely getting its way up there right now.
Yeah.
And we'll discuss a little bit of pay as well in this, and kind of give y'all some salary transparency as well. Even though I already did my last video, but I'm saying for the jobs right now in the job market, what kind of pay you'd expect. But I'll let you go ahead and continue what you're saying.
Certifications that I was going over. A typical pathway that we'd suggest some of our mentees to go through would be, we get them starting with like a CompTIA, like a generalized certification, so not a vendor certification. And depending on what kind of experience and what kind of background they have, it could range from starting them with Network Plus, A Plus even, to getting them Security Plus, towards like the Security Plus certification first. And then we'll start, hammering down and focusing on some of the vendor certs. And for those of you who kind of don't understand like what the point of certifications are or what value they bring, essentially a certification just shows an employer that you have an understanding, and sometimes even you know how to like practically put into use these technologies, right? So for the Okta, for example, their tests, they put you like in a lab environment where you have to build out, let's say, a authentication platform, right? Using their application or their software. So that'll show an employer that you took the test, you passed it, which shows that you understand at least the basic functionalities of their platform. Go ahead.
But sorry, I mean to cut you off. But a lot of questions that we get are about their certification, so I really want to make sure we spend a decent amount of time on this. But I've seen a lot of y'all be like, oh, what if I went to college? Can I just use my college degree and leverage that to getting a job over just getting a certification? The college degree is cool, but the main thing that they care about right now is getting certified and years of experience. That matters the most, because somebody without a college degree, you know what I mean, could just walk into a job, or can't just walk. They can just walk into a job if they have the years of experience and the certifications are.
Yeah.
That matters the most. The years of experience and certifications will trump just a regular college degree. So that's very important that you get certified. And like I said, the best certifications we just mentioned to y'all, and don't really, like I seen a lot of comments on my last YouTube video, a lot of people not recommending Network Plus, but I feel like it just depends on where you are. If you need a good understanding of what networking is and get a good understanding of network, I would say get Network Plus, because if you're not really too technical and you don't really know what's going on, get CompTIA A Plus. You have to get that first. You need to learn the basics. You won't be able to get through Security Plus if you don't get at least A Plus or Network Plus first. So my roadmap for y'all is to start with A Plus first, learn the basics. And this is just if you're fresh, brand new into the space, no help desk experience, and you're coming from like a fucking Amazon plant or something like that, whatever. I would say get started with A Plus first. Learn the basics. See if this is something that you're actually interested in. Because we've had a lot of people just come in, learn that, and be like, I can't do it, bro. Can I get a refund? I'm like, yeah, whatever, sure. So definitely get started with A Plus first. Then if you feel like you can, you kind of know a decent amount about Network Plus, you can skip that and then go for Cisco CCNA or CompTIA Security Plus. And Cisco CCNA or CompTIA Security Plus, or is what I would recommend after your A Plus. It's not too difficult to get. Neither is Security Plus, but it's really all preference. Now, depending on like the other field, like red teaming stuff, he knows more about that, so he'll talk about that. So let's.
But to add on, before I get into red teaming and stuff, to add on what he said, and for those of you who are like, oh, well, I'll get to that part later. But to add on to what he said about like the A+ and the Network Plus, like I would say, and this is obviously my personal opinion, I would say, depending on who you are and if you want to spend the money or not, I'd say it's not even necessary to actually get the cert, but like have an understanding of like just the basic technologies, which A+ covers, and also have an understanding of networking. Because like something goes wrong in one of your IT jobs, right? And maybe a system or a server goes down and it's not connecting to a network. Having an understanding of like even the OSI 7-layer model, like it could be this layer, it could be this layer, will really help you like troubleshoot and save you like tons of hours from just sitting in front of your computer trying to figure out how to fix this thing. Like when you have a good foundation on, you know, on networking and on just computers in general. But yeah, about the red teaming. So yeah, as Kyle said, I do a little bit of red teaming. Mainly, or right now, I'm focusing on malware development, which involves, you know, a bit of coding. It's C and C++, for those of you that know programming languages. And essentially what malware is, it's just malicious software that attackers will use to, I don't know, breach, or not breach, that attackers will use to exploit, I guess, a company and hold them for ransomware, extort them for money. So yeah, I'm doing research on that, and the reason I'm doing research on that and the reason why red teamers exist is because it's important to think like an attacker when you're in cybersecurity, so that you understand where your vulnerabilities may lie. As far as certifications go for red teaming, they're a little bit more expensive. Some that I can think of would be like Certified Ethical Hacker. Security Plus would also be, I mean, Security Plus is great for any starting role that you want to get into in cybersecurity. OSCP, TCM has a couple of good certifications that you can get started on. And the pay for those roles will obviously be a little bit higher because you're gonna need a little bit more experience and you're gonna need to learn a lot more technologies in general that are a little bit more complicated. But I will say it's a little bit harder to job stack those roles than the roles that Kyle is going for, right? So blue teaming, which really mainly relies on, you know, closing out tickets, user permissions and whatnot. So for those of you who want to go the job stacking route, I'd say definitely stick with blue teaming. But I guess if you're bold, you could do the same in red teaming.
Or like software engineering.
Yeah, exactly. So what's something else that a lot of people ask? What if I don't have job experience? We can talk about that. What can you do without job experience? So we already went over certifications. Obviously, you could get a certification to kind of pad out that, you know, lack of job experience. So while you're applying, something else that will help is building home labs. And we should probably do a video or course on it at least. Like an IAM one. So essentially, an example here would be I build out an Active Directory lab using VMware. And in that lab, I set policies, I create OUs, and I set policies for those OUs, et cetera, et cetera. But what this does is, you know, maybe you're lacking the job experience, right? But in your resume, instead, you can have a project section, which is pretty common in resumes for those of you who don't know. And then you can put that in your actual resume, and you could leverage metrics on it. So like I made 100 different OUs, and I automated the process of onboarding by using PowerShell scripting, something like that, right? But something that, you know, will catch the attention of the actual recruiter to, you know, at least make them think that you have a decent knowledge and you have the skills to actually apply to the job. So, I mean, do you have anything to add to that, really? The home labs and stuff?
The home labs, no, there's not really too much to add to that. We do that, and like I said, our mentorship as well, but that's another discussion for a different day. But I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
The next question that we get a lot, and I definitely have to address this, is coding. Everybody thinks to get started in cybersecurity, you need to know coding. So would you tell them on the red team side, and I'll tell them on the blue team side? Or
So definitely, you'll see a lot more coding on the red teaming side, and usually, I'd say, okay, obviously when I'm doing malware research, malware development, yes, you are gonna need to learn how to code, and you need to be able to understand code, and even reverse engineering, which is you take an application and try and kind of break the code out of it, right? To rebuild it. But like in red teaming, there are other spaces, like even penetration testing. And for those of you who don't know what that is, I know it sounds weird. It's not what it sounds like. Penetration testing is just called, what did he? It's called ethical hacking, and what they do is they go to a company, they run vulnerability scans, and they try and exploit their network, and then they go to this company and tell them, hey, here are the vulnerabilities you have, here's how I was able to get in, maybe here's some steps that you could take to fix them, right? So that's what an ethical hacker does. And a lot of people think that doing that you need to learn how to code, but the reality is you don't. 9 times out of 10, the tools that they're using is a tool someone else already programmed. What I will say will be useful is learning a terminal, which is not the same as coding. If you learn how to use commands and stuff in Linux or even in Windows systems, you'll be good to get into a red teaming role. But in general, cybersecurity does not require coding at all. And I mean, you could talk about blue team, how it doesn't require blue team at all.
Yeah, it doesn't require a lot of coding, y'all. Even on my side, and most of the code is already written when you get there, depending on the company size, what tools they're using, if they're setting up a new tool, whatever. It kind of just depends, and you'll be able to tell and weed that out based off the job description in an interview, anyways, for whichever position you're applying. But most of the scripts, bro, you can grab online from like ChatGPT or somebody else. There's different like Reddit groups, people on Twitter. There's so many different ways that'll help you out if you just, don't know how to code. You can go to YouTube University, as everybody calls it. There's so many good free videos online that you can find, or just ask people in your network as well. So like I said, it's not a lot. Typically the coding language that we use is PowerShell scripting at the companies I've been at, dealing with CyberArk and stuff. And a lot of companies use Python. Those are the two biggest two, but like I said, it's not. Most of the code that we had to write was already written anyway, so it's nothing too crazy. But like we say, you do not need to know coding or have a crazy coding experience background. I'd say just take a little class, a free little class, or watch a video on it a couple of times a week, learn it a little bit, and that's it. You don't need to, it's nothing too crazy with it. For some of y'all that's worried about that, you'll be fine.
I think it's important to also stay updated, like with the ongoing events in cybersecurity.
Staying updated.
Yeah. So I mean, Kyle, like literally earlier today, he showed me a
company getting hacked.
Yeah, it was that Ticketmaster.
Oh, Ticketmaster.
Yeah. Ticketmaster had a data breach. I want to kind of highlight. It's important to stay updated. You can impress the interviewers. Like once you do land a role, like you won't be. I guess you won't be left looking stuck if you're talking to them and they bring up some like recent big news like Log4j when that came out. If you didn't know what that was, then it wouldn't be a good look on you, right? Yeah. But staying updated, like in cybersecurity events, not only will you learn things, which will help you in interviews, and it'll help you like do your project, get your certifications, but you'll also get like a good understanding of why cybersecurity is important, and you'll get a good understanding of what things you may want to protect, what things you may want to watch out for, and even for your personal, personal sake, being able to avoid getting hacked. Like if you're on Discord or something, you get a DM, or on Instagram, you get a DM with some dude's like sends you like a Instagram login link, and then you log in, and then next thing you know,
you got
you got your password stolen and stuff. That'll also help you, protect yourself from those kinds of things. So I think staying updated with cybersecurity news and trends is also like really important when it comes to getting started in cybersecurity.
My next topic would have to be repetition. I don't think you can really learn or really grow if you don't do something a lot of times, multiple times in a row. So for some of y'all that's like, oh, I don't want to just keep taking these interviews and doing bad on the interviews, bro. There's so many companies out here that'll take a chance on you. You never know. I feel like it's one of those things, like it's like closed mouths don't get fed. And one of our people, or one of our friends named Isaiah, shout out you, Isaiah, I know you probably watched this video. He learned a decent amount from me, probably like 45% from me and my dad, and then the other 60% or whatever he learned off of just watching YouTube videos. And Isaiah was applying a lot, but he also was getting a lot of interviews, and that's because we were doing his resume for him. He was able to change up his resume, and he looked at other people's resume templates, whatever. But he learned a lot from just interviewing over and over again. So obviously he wasn't doing great on their interviews, and they were kind of like, they weren't fond of him on the interviews or whatever. I don't know a better word for it. But his interviews just weren't going well. You know, he just kept doing them. He didn't let that discourage him. Oh, I had a bad interview. I didn't know this question. You're truly not gonna ever be prepared or know every question on an interview. It's just not possible. Some things you just don't know, especially like being in this space in cybersecurity and IAM and red team and all this other stuff. The tools that we use change every day. Like CyberArk, SailPoint, and Okta, they're constantly developing and changing every day. There's no way I can know every single thing that goes on in CyberArk, SailPoint, Okta, whatever. It's just no way. So at least you can do is just kind of, you know, figure out, do your research, watch videos, take the classes and courses that y'all need to do, and just keep learning. Everything is just all repetition. You just have to keep doing it. Like with your interviews, if you know you're not a good interviewer and you get nervous, you have to keep doing them. It doesn't matter, even if you're applying for help desk roles you don't care about or don't want to do. It's just something you need to do. Look at everything like that as a stepping stone. It's just getting you one step closer to your goal. So that's my biggest thing is repetition. I interviewed a lot and I was getting destroyed on interviews. I interviewed a lot until I figured it out. And every time I would go back and ask my dad questions that I didn't know, or I just go look it up or watch a YouTube video about it, or you know, whatever, or go to udemy.com, buy a course about it. So everything comes to repetition, and if you just have to want it bad enough to learn. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. So that's another big thing for me.
And I guess to finish it off, we could talk about like the average salaries for some of those certifications and whatnot. Or some of those roles. So you can go ahead and get started with that if you want.
So for something like IAM analyst or something right now, or like a junior analyst, so I got 2 people that I know in my mentorship placed in the job, and they're making and mind you, in this video I'm not trying to sell y'all anything, or some of y'all we're not trying to sell y'all anything. We're just telling you like different examples that we have, but because this is just like a straight informative video. But one of our guys I can't really name him because I don't want to say his name, and then y'all know how much he's making. But he started off at he has a junior analyst role, and he's at $35 an hour, and he's only 20 years old, and he lives in Washington, Seattle, Washington. So, and it's fully remote, and he didn't have any tech experience. He got started with us, and we were able to get him a job within 2.5 months after he got his Security Plus. So it is possible to get a job fast as well, I want to say that. But like I said, he started off at $35 an hour, so I can give y'all $72,800, so basically $73,000 a year. And he's only 20 years old, just starting out. That is fantastic.
Considering you could stack him, it's a fully remote job too.
Exactly.
So if he really wanted to, he can go for a second one and stack that one on top.
He's trying to, but he's looking to get more certs as well. So for something like a junior, this is kind of low for what 2 years ago when I was getting started, an analyst role started at 100K. At least, like the lowest I saw one was like 95K.
Yeah, probably because he's a junior analyst. So it might be like a step below.
No, I had a junior analyst role and it was like 95, but I got like a bonus because it was a full-time role. It wasn't a contract like how I normally do. But so in this market in today's day, even though prices are going up, it seems like salaries are going down, which is a little bit weird. So it's like 73 for like a junior analyst role, and then you got like a regular analyst, and they're in that 85 to even 100K range. It's a huge range, but typically most jobs are in that range, 80 to 100K. Nothing more, nothing less usually. And then for like a IM engineer like I'm at, I usually don't get sent over for jobs that are less than like 125, 130 a year. It kind of just depends on what the job description looks like, what tools I'll be utilizing, what type of team I'll be working with. Is it a new tool, or are they trying to implement this new tool, whatever. It's a bunch of different variables, but the lowest I've seen recently for an IM engineer that I applied for is 120. And there are some that come in like at 110, 115 that are pretty smooth, but they usually require a lot more work, but you know, it is what it is. And yeah, I would say that's about it. And then architects, right now architects it's going crazy for them. I think they average like 100 plus an hour. That could be a Okta architect, a SailPoint architect, SailPoint architects, SailPoint architects, CyberArk architects, but Okta architects, they're making like 150, 125 an hour. They're going crazy right now because Okta is in very high demand. But most of the architects are typically around there. But yeah, and like I said, you can stack a few of those as well, but it all just depends. So that's pretty much like the IAM realm from what I've seen, but you may have something different for your side.
Yeah, so usually, and it does obviously depend on which state you live in, but red teaming, offensive security roles, hacking or ethical hackers, penetration testers, I say like the median salary starting out for any single one of those would be like 120 to 130. Obviously, if you're going to like Cali or New York, you could probably bump that up to 150. For like as a peak for one job, the peak that I've seen, the most that I've seen was probably Amazon had one up for like 400,000, for 400 something,
which is crazy.
Yeah, which is insane. But yeah, it's a high. There's a high ceiling to it, and obviously the highest paid jobs are going to be the managerial roles, besides technical. Like the 400,000 was a technical role, that's the highest one I've seen. But like if you get into the managerial roles, like if you're a CISO, deputy CISO, or what's it called, a director, cybersecurity director, you could also look up towards like the 300, 400s. Yeah. And if you're working for a bigger company like Google, Microsoft, you're probably looking at 600, 700,000 a year just for one role. But like I said, it's a little bit harder to job stack those roles just because you're dealing with private information, and you're probably signing a whole bunch of NDAs with companies doing red teaming, because you're going to have access to a lot of information that those companies probably don't want to be shared with anyone else other than you and them. So job stacking that, probably a little bit more risky and a little bit harder. Yeah. As far as workload too, it'll probably be a lot more work to be done than one like IAM role. But yeah, the pay on those is also really good. So
yeah. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, we appreciate y'all for showing a lot of love and support on the last video that we did. We greatly appreciate y'all. Liking that video at the end, like I said, we're not trying to really sell you guys anything. We're just offering our services, just letting you know like the possibilities of cybersecurity and, basically what we have going on and how you can get started too. So yeah, link in the description below explaining what we do and how we do it, how we're able to get others like y'all that are interested in getting started. We just offer our services. That is it for us. Yep. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and put down some more video ideas we can do in the next YouTube video, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
See y'all.